Here's where most seniors often get steered in the wrong direction without realizing it. It wasn't long ago I discovered something that changed my entire approach to earning online. I realized that the biggest income mistake seniors like me unknowingly make isn't about skill or age or technology. It's something more subtle, something almost invisible, something I didn't realize I was doing until much later. And once I finally saw it, everything changed. This mistake shows up when someone is trying to do the right thing, trying to create security, to make life more peaceful, yet unknowingly, they're choosing a path that fights their natural rhythm. The mistake looks harmless from the outside, but once you understand it, you'll never unsee it again. And this is when things finally started making sense for me. If we haven't met yet, it's nice to meet you. I'm Kim, and I help people build simple, meaningful online income streams that actually fit their lives. I even created a free quiz to help you discover the type of earning style that feels natural and a workbook that takes you further and gives you a supportive structure without the pressure of complicated systems. You'll find both the quiz and the workbook linked in the description below. For years, I didn't realize I was setting myself up the same way a lot of seniors do. I was following advice that wasn't meant for me and choosing ways of earning that asked for more time and effort than I wanted to give. It all started to make sense when I finally slowed down enough to see what was actually happening. I wasn't failing or behind or incapable. I was just following paths that weren't meant for me. And that awareness was the shift that opened the door to the most peaceful, aligned income I've ever created. When I finally realized the mistake I was making, one I didn't even know I was making, everything started to feel easier almost right away. And here's the thing, I see this over and over with people our age, myself included. One of the biggest income mistakes seniors make is trying to build income on a foundation that just doesn't match their life anymore. We come into the online world with decades of experience behind us. We've got real skills, real wisdom, but then we end up applying all of that to the wrong direction. We choose methods that are built for people who want to post constantly, stay up late editing videos, chase every new trend, or juggle a dozen tools at once. And honestly, those paths drain people before they even get going. This has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with potential. It's just that the approach doesn't fit. See, the online world loves complexity. It romanticizes hustle and glorifies speed. It thrives on nonstop activity. And when you lived a full life, it's easy to get pulled into these expectations without realizing how demanding they really are. No one tells us those systems were designed for a completely different lifestyle. And no one points out that our strengths often work best in calmer, steadier paths. We're rarely told that the real key is choosing an income approach that fits where we are in life, not where someone else is. And that's why knowing what you actually want matters so much. And I don't mean in a big dramatic way. I mean in a very simple, everyday way. Like looking at your life and thinking, this pace feels good. This feels manageable. This fits who I am right now and how I want to live. Once you see what's holding you back, things start to settle. You stop forcing yourself into exhausting systems. You don't feel so overwhelmed. And you finally realize you weren't doing it wrong. You were just doing the wrong thing for your season of life. For me, it all started to make sense when I stopped pretending something else would work. I wasn't looking to run myself into the ground. I wasn't looking to constant pressure either. And I definitely wasn't looking for a full second job. I wanted something steady, something manageable, something that fit into the life I already had instead of taking it over. It starts with deciding how much income would actually help your life. Not a number that's huge and sounds impressive, and not a number that forces you into working in ways you don't want to. Just a number that feels realistic where you are right now. When people our age start there, the income paths they choose tend to fit their life instead of finding it. The next piece is paying attention to how your days actually work. because this is where a lot of frustration starts. Some people do better working in short bursts, and some need slow mornings. Others like quiet afternoon routine, and still others feel more focused later in the day. There's really no right or wrong here. It's just what fits your life. And for many seniors, that life includes caregiving, health considerations, grandkids, or simply protecting personal time you've earned. The mistake isn't having those rhythms, it's ignoring them. Once you understand this, you naturally stop choosing income paths that don't fit. You stop chasing strategies that require constant visibility. You let go of ideas that drain you, and you stop trying to keep pace with people in completely different stages of life. Once I understood this for myself, a lot of the guilt went away. I stopped feeling like I was constantly pushing against something, and I finally realized that I wasn't struggling because I was missing something. I was struggling because I was following the wrong plan. Once I changed that, things didn't feel so hard anymore. If any of this sounds like something you've been dealing with, let me know by dropping a 5 in the comments below and liking the video. It turned out there was a simple fix that changed everything. I realized it wasn't about trying harder, I just needed something that worked with my life. Most of us don't need to do more or push harder. We don't need to juggle a bunch of different systems or keep chasing every new thing that shows up. We just need one direction that fits our real day-to-day life. A lot of frustration comes from trying to keep too many options open at the same time. Too many ideas, too much advice, too many paths that point in different directions. What makes the difference is choosing one clear direction, one lane that feels doable, and one way of earning that feels natural to you. When I chose my direction, the mistake stopped immediately. I didn't need permission. I didn't need to wait until I felt confident, and I didn't need to become someone else. I just needed to choose a path that fit how I already do things. That's why the quiz I created is so useful. It helps you see how you naturally work and shows whether you tend to earn best by creating, teaching, helping, or recommending. Instead of guessing or trying things at random, it points you toward the direction that already fits you. A lot of people our age underestimate how much experience and ability they bring with them. The quiz doesn't give you something new to become, it helps you recognize what's already there. And the workbook builds on that. It walks you through simple reflection and practical planning. It helps you see what gives you energy, what wears you down, and what actually suits you. Once you can see your own patterns clearly, choosing a path becomes much easier. You stop second-guessing yourself, and you stop chasing ideas that were never meant for this stage of life. You stop wondering why nothing feels doable long-term. And this part matters. Seniors don't lose the ability to learn new things. What changes is our tolerance for unnecessary complication. We're no longer interested in strategies that require nonstop effort just to keep going. That's not a weakness, it's experience. It's good judgment. It's knowing what's worth your time. When you choose one path that fits, every step supports your energy instead of draining it. What you do builds on itself instead of pulling you in different directions. You don't keep starting over. You don't bounce from idea to idea. You're not carrying that constant mental weight of, what should I be doing instead? That's the difference between guessing and actually knowing. Once you pick a direction that works for you, moving forward doesn't feel like such a fight because you're not second guessing every step. It starts to feel like this is something you can actually live with. What surprised me most was how simple the answer actually was. Once I stopped chasing the wrong approach, everything stopped feeling so complicated. A lot of seniors assume they need big systems to make this work, like long videos, fancy tech, or huge audiences. Or they think they have to compete with people half their age who seem to live online. And that idea alone is enough to stop a lot of people before they start. But it turns out simpler works better. Simple respects your time, works with your energy, and lets you use what you already know instead of starting from scratch. And simple is something you can actually keep up with. My own turning point wasn't dramatic. There was no big breakthrough moment. I just realized I didn't need to chase everything. I didn't need to master every tool. The truth is, the income mistake most seniors make has nothing to do with ability. It comes from choosing paths that don't work for the life they actually have. Once you start working with your strengths and choose a simpler direction, things change. And from here, everything we talk about next builds on that idea. You're at a point where things can feel simpler and more grounded. You're starting to see what actually works for your life. You're choosing directions that support you instead of fighting you. And you are fixing a mistake you didn't even know you were making. From here, the next steps don't have to be complicated. If this way of thinking has been helpful, you might want to subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. Everything I share going forward builds on this idea of creating income in a way that makes sense for where you are now. And if you'd like an easy place to start, I have a free short quiz that helps you see what kind of earning style comes most naturally to you. It's simple, and it gives you a clearer sense of direction without a lot of guesswork. If you decide you want more structure after that, there's also a workbook that walks you through things step by step without piling on pressure or making it complicated. Most important, just know this: you're capable, you have a solid foundation, and you're not behind. You're simply moving forward in a way that makes sense for you.